Hi there, friends on LinkedIn. My name is Greg Arabatsis, and I greatly appreciate you tuning in today for this informative discussion that we're going to have. If you don't know me, let me take a moment just to give you a little bit of background about who I am. I've been in the nutrition industry for the past 20 years. I consider myself an expert in scaling startup companies and companies that have been in the industry for a while that are looking to take their business to the next level and helping them to grow their business in a variety of different ways. I've worked with ingredient companies, supplement manufacturers, and a variety of other companies. It is my great pleasure to introduce my colleague who will be joining me today for our talk here on LinkedIn, Chelsea Newman. Chelsea is a best-selling author, nutritionist with a background in digital marketing and health tech. She has worked with large international private labels and spoken for some of the biggest names in the industry, helping both personality brands and physical products gain million-dollar market share around the globe. She loves to help show healthcare practitioners how to easily and effectively expand their reach and do what some of the biggest names in the industry do for just a fraction of the cost. Hi there, Chelsea.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Fun to do this. Looks like you're in sunny San Francisco.
Wish that was the case, but I am in sunny New Jersey at the moment.
Well, at least it's warm there now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So this is our first LinkedIn Live, and I'm excited for us to get started and to cover ground here for healthcare practitioners and to help them to get a better grasp and understanding in this post-COVID world of ways that we can help them and ways that we can help them to build their business. Mm-hmm. So look forward to doing that.
Yeah, it's definitely needed these days.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What would be our first question?
Well, I would think, one of the things that both you and I are experts at is branding and helping people move a brand forward. And the thing that I've seen as the biggest challenge this year for people is really understanding this online world that we've stepped into. It was something, especially in the healthcare world, that was coming down the pipeline, but it got accelerated greatly by COVID. And so I've been blessed. I've had a digital practice since 2014. So I've been entirely online. So my business, turned around, it thrived. I was set up for success, but I think a lot of practitioners are really overwhelmed with how do I even start this online process? What is branding? How do I make a splash in the online world? I say the world is a giant shopping mall at this point. People are like sitting on the toilet shopping on their phones and they're looking for things. The healthcare world has changed dramatically. So how is it that we can help these practitioners and people really understand how to do what these big online personalities have been doing for years without the giant cost, without the big infrastructure and all of those things? And there's really a way for everyone to do it at their own comfort level as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the terms that became very prominent towards the latter end of last year is COVID fatigue. And there was a level of COVID fatigue for both healthcare practitioners and also for their patients, where there had been content disseminated out on a very regular basis, almost on a daily basis, to their inboxes through a variety of different platforms that they were hearing about. And they didn't really know which way to turn in terms of what makes the most sense for their business and for their practice. So the ways that we're able to help them, the ways that we're able to help them to structure and build their business is going to be essential, because for many of the practices, as they've gotten back to bringing their staff back full-time, patients coming back into the office full-time and going away from more of a virtual world and virtual consults, the things that we're able to do for them is what's going to help them to take their business to the absolute next level in the remainder of this year and beyond.
Yeah, and I think, it pushed the boundary and the change forward really quickly. So whenever I worked with consulting for practitioners, I always said a third of your business needs to come from sales of some kind, supplements, equipment, all those kinds of things. And I think COVID really made that very prevalent. For many of my doctors, supplement sales are going to be their retirement program, whether that's a private label or whether that's just a branded storefront that they've built online. where their patients are really loyal to them and it creates this really nice residual income. I always talk with practitioners who say, I don't want to sell anything. And I say, your job is not to sell, your job is really to educate people into buying clean products, making sure they're getting them from a safe, reputable thing. I know, Amazon is a huge thorn in the side for many of our practitioners here. So really helping practitioners understand how they can not only guide their patients into safe supplement sale purchasing, but also to make sure that they don't feel like they're having to sell. It's really just genuinely an education exchange going on where these patients don't want to buy from anyone other than their trusted healthcare provider.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the Amazon model and the diverter area of the business is a consistent and significant problem, and perhaps the biggest problem for a healthcare practitioner at the moment, aside from making sure that they see the residual sales coming in from their patients. So this diverter model and those that are purchasing products that really shouldn't be is where brands like True Niagen and others that make a concerted effort to have a branded product that on the practitioner side would not be readily available for a consumer to buy, and to be able to protect them is so very important. And then the other things that really make a difference, again, as we get back into a world where patients will come into the office, is the assets, is the collateral materials that are provided to support the sale. And when I look at the brands that I've been involved with previously and worked with, like my role now with Chromadex, True Niagen, and others, those companies that have the scientific support data behind their products, those companies that have taken the time to make sure that they have thought leaders that are not only providing educational support around these products, but are using them in their practices. And those same thought leaders that are speaking the praises and efficacy of those product lines are the ones that healthcare practitioners should seriously be considering using. Because for brands that are struggling within the space or are having a hard time finding where their niche really is, the keys to this are to build a long-term sustainable model. And to do that, that means putting those pieces in place. And there are areas that you and I specialize in this industry to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, I like that you said in-market, in-office collateral, because people on this call may or may not be aware of that. I work very closely with a company called Get Healthy. What we do is we create branded stores for practitioners, and it really allows you to divert that Amazon traffic. And it's so interesting for me because I think it was 2014. I had a brand, it was called With Chelsea. I had a full team, they owned my brand, and we built out a massive affiliate bank. So we were driving traffic. I was having different categories that I would talk about. It was things like mattresses that were organic and water filters. And the way that I was generating revenue, which was the only option at the time, was through affiliate links. And that is kind of the model that practitioners are exposed to at this point, is this affiliate link model. The problem, if anyone's unaware of how affiliate links really work, is you have an affiliate link, you make an amazing blog post or an amazing video, or you even talk with somebody in office about this organic mattress, for example, or water or supplement. What happens is if they click that link and they go to Amazon and they don't purchase, or they go to that website and they don't purchase within, say, 24 to 48 hours is usually the hot link, but they go back 3 days from now, then that company takes the commission. You never make it. And if you did make the commission, you're really going to make very, very little. I just had a brand that did 20,000 in sales. I think they made $500 through Amazon. I think with my brand team, when we launched this, the most that we were ever able to generate with Amazon was about $7.40. So the Amazon model where it's affiliate is not working, but practitioners need to understand that there's resources out there where they can build their own branded storefronts that are attached to their website. They can have QR codes when they're in office. Everyone knows what a QR code is right now, with a piece of paper, a one pager or a business card that says, hey, scan my QR code, land in my store, and your supplements and your products become your low hanging fruit. I use this a lot of times when I'm talking with health coaches that are getting off the ground, personal trainers, things like that. Some people aren't going to afford to come and see you, or functional medicine doctors. They're not going to work through a whole entire 3-month package with you, but they will happily purchase supplements from you. So if you have some really nice in-office marketing material that can then drive them to this online platform that you've created, which can be incredibly easy if you work with the right companies, then you've really captured that market. And the beauty of it is that most of us, we have mom buyers. A lot of our clientele is going to be female for the most part. They're going to buy for their children. They're going to buy for their husband. So you can really start to generate this really predictable revenue within your practice that can give you a lot of freedom to do a lot of other things. If you have 100 patients purchasing $100 worth of supplements a month, you're doing very good in terms of a residual income. You've pretty much covered, depending on your zip code, most of your bills at that point, probably very profitable depending on where it is that your practice is.
Absolutely, absolutely. The entire process and exercise of someone either carrying supplements within their own practice or utilizing platforms such as Get Healthy really should be very seamless, because setting up an online store is not a extensive task from beginning to end to be able to do that, but the benefits are significant. And beyond that, one of the things that HCPs should be looking at as well is asking manufacturers for their logo, their camera-ready art, so that they could show this information on their own website and identify that they're carrying those products in their offices. Because one of the areas as sales have eroded in certain instances for healthcare practitioners is the fact that their patients may be exploring other options or ways to be able to get those products. But part of what our job is to do is to provide them those tools for online sales and in-person sales, so that those incremental sales will grow, and that they have the tools, and that we've educated not only the doctor, but also the staff in terms of the most efficient and effective ways for them to be able to position and sell those products in their practice.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that it's easy. Ooh, a little bit of an echo there, but I'm glad you said that it's easy to set up a store, because it is, but it isn't. If you don't use the right software and you just want to go and do it on your own, it's incredibly labor intensive. You're going to have to sign resellers agreements with every single brand that you want. You're going to have, and probably they're not going to approve you. You're going to have to get imagery. You're going to have to work with a marketer, a brander. You're going to have to build a Shopify store. You're going to have a credit card processing your bills with Shopify. To do this at a high converting rate, it's going to be about $800 a month. You're going to have to be warehousing, drop shipping, having someone manage inventory. It is a giant headache. When we see these really large personality brands in the industry, they have full teams that manage their whole entire e-commerce platform. So the difference with what we have and our wonderful partnership with True Niagen as well, and is that we've created a technology platform that allows practitioners to do what the 1% do for a fraction of the cost. So what we have is these beautiful branded stores that take about 2 weeks to get up. You can house all of the products that you want within your store. We generally recommend that you curate a really nice shopping experience, but you never have to keep anything in office. You're always just going to be making profit. Taxes, everything is taken care of for you, customer service. And so we're just speaking to these brands and making sure that your patient can order multiple brands at one time, have them delivered to their door, and get them on a repeating basis. Because most of our healthcare professionals are really smart. They use different brands, as they should, for different protocols. So we don't want to limit anybody to just one brand, but for you to not be limited to one brand, the technology solution hasn't been there before this new platform that's come out. And it's been a game changer for people over COVID to be able to create these stores and have these marketing initiatives done for them.
Oh, I agree. I agree. It has absolutely been a game changer, and it's been really a tipping point in most instances for those practices that have been able to survive COVID versus those that have had a very difficult time getting through COVID. So,
I mean, give some examples. I've seen practitioners who were set up correctly when COVID struck, and their sales doubled or tripled. Some of my accounts, I was seeing very incredibly large numbers come through when they were set up correctly, because people were desperate. And I do still have my private practice, and the way that people talk to me about health has completely changed. I'm from Hawaii. I've been there for 15 years. My practice, my patients are mostly from there. And the calls were always, I want to look good in a bikini. That's the calls over most of the country. The calls have completely changed to, I don't want to die. I want to lose weight. I want to take care of my health. I want preventative. So people are super hungry for this information, and they really realize, or perhaps they don't, that when they're on Amazon, usually they're going to be getting charged more, and they could just be getting counterfeit products entirely. That happens tons in the industry. We saw it skyrocket over COVID. People really capitalized on that. So it's our job as healthcare practitioners to say, look, we have a special agreement with this brand. We know that you're not getting it counterfeit. We know that you're getting it at the best price you possibly can. And in most instances, you can use your FSA or HSA card for it. So you're really doing them a service at this point. You're doing them like a disservice if you're not helping them get these products at the best price possible, not counterfeit, and being able to use their insurance.
Absolutely. Yeah, either counterfeit, or the other issue is beyond expiration, which is a common one too. So, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about education. Well, one of the key, for me, one of the key points in terms of building awareness around brands like Tru Niagen and like many others that are out there is the support and education that you're able to provide for the healthcare practitioner. So I'll weigh in a little bit, but I'd love to get your thoughts in terms of education, webinars, podcasts, some of the other things that we're working on, but I'd love to get your take on some of that.
Yeah. Do you want to jump in first, and then I'll let you know?
No, why don't you go first and then I'll jump in.
Yeah. So, a lot of what we do with online stores and stuff, we talk a lot about content marketing, and practitioners go, I don't want to write a blog post, or I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But the way that I think about content is really like, how well can I educate my patient? And so even if it's just a quick little blurb that you put out about a product or a test or something like that, like an email, an Instagram post, a video, then you're educating, and that will then result in a sale. And what we do at Get Healthy, we really, work with our brands to make sure that they're educating the practitioner. Practitioners are incredibly overloaded with information all the time. We have thousands of products to choose from. So what we're really working on, because everyone has Zoom fatigue, is making sure that as you join one of our webinars, you're walking away with some kind of certification. We really want to make sure that as you step away, you have something that you can show for it. You really feel that you can speak to that product. Of course, many people learn in different ways. I personally love to just listen to conversations, podcasts. Sometimes I'll re-listen to a Zoom. I think conversation is an amazing place, but driving to your practice, things like that, really just tuning into the information that the brands have for you. Functional medicine is changing dramatically. I think it's really fascinating to see the new things that are coming out, and it can definitely be overwhelming, but we really are focusing on making sure that every time you tune in, if you have one of our stores, you get access to all of the education. And as you're tuning in, you're walking away with some kind of certification.
Absolutely. Yeah, I find that education, and one of the areas that I had put a tremendous amount of emphasis on and was one of the earliest adopters to this, was webinars. And although there is a certain level of that COVID fatigue around education, we still find that there are significantly high numbers of people that want to learn at their own pace and time. So although someone may not have the ability to listen to a webinar live, the fact that they have the ability to record it, listen to it on the weekend, in their car, on the way to the beach, is, I think, a important aspect in terms of the overall educational piece. But looking at it in terms of our industry, and as we show differentiation between the many fine brands that are out there that are proven, tested, have a high level of quality, et cetera, the education that's provided, the science that's provided around these products, the long-term data to show levels of efficacy. Obviously, we're not making any direct claims on anything, but at the same time, what we are doing is providing levels of support that will allow the practitioner to have a clear understanding and the peace of mind that the product that they're purchasing is in fact one that has been true, tried, and tested.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm like a sucker for doing my laundry on a Sunday morning and listening to a webinar replay or a podcast. I think many of the healthcare practitioners that are the best in the industry are information junkies and can definitely multitask. I mean, very smart people that we work with. We're very blessed in that way. So, you know, getting on board with Get Healthy or just making sure you're on the mailing list of those things and staying aware of the products is really good. I think the thing that practitioners get intimidated by the most these days are informed consumers. I think we have the most informed consumers that we've ever had in terms of preventative health and functional medicine. And it's, you know, a bit of a blessing and a curse, but it's really wonderful for them to come in and be able to say, oh, have you heard of this product? And a doctor to be able to say, oh, let me look at the ingredients and the sourcing really quickly, and I'll tell you what I think about it. And being able to be well versed enough to say, actually, if you're buying off Amazon, you could be getting it wrong. Or look, when you're purchasing off Amazon here, it's not fulfilled by the brand. So it could very likely be counterfeit. So having those little sound bites and those nuggets in your back pocket to educate your patient is very, very important when it comes to those things, helping them, they're informed buyers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a more informed population today than ever before. And the pandemic certainly has a lot to do that, because the consumer had a lot more time on their hands to be able to research these products and find out more in terms of what they wanted to use and utilize. But I absolutely agree with you in terms of what people are looking for right now. It's products around looking good. It's products around, at this stage, since we are post-COVID and it is the summer, products that are around energy recovery, endurance, weight loss, anti-aging. All of these areas are key and essential, and things that people are the most interested in at the moment, and are areas that you and I certainly specialize in. So it's a very exciting time, and certainly as we get back over the next couple of months into a less virtual world and back into the real world with live conferences and events, and having the ability to have doctors present and speak at conferences and trade shows, it really helps to allow the practitioner audience to be able to engage directly in person with those respected healthcare practitioners that they had with 14, 15 months ago.
Yeah, and I'm glad you touched upon that, because, you know, having a well-rounded store, it was very impossible before the technology that Get Healthy brought to the market to be able to treat a patient holistically. You're not going to be able to, even though you may want to, replace their cleaning supplies at home and tell them, hey, maybe bleach isn't the best thing for you. You have poor methylation pathways. Hey, maybe you have these terrible allergies. I think you should get an air filter, because we weren't going to be able to stock those in office, right? There's no way that we're not a warehouse. But I think many of the practitioners these days want to treat their patients holistically. So having something like a Get Healthy store attached to your website that you can really say, here's the toxin-free skincare that I recommend. Here's the mattresses. Here's the standing desks. Oh, you have, you know, back pain going on. It's because you're sitting all day long. And they're able to capitalize on that recommendation and treat someone holistically, truly, without stocking all of those belongings at their office. It just would be impossible.
Right. And again, we're getting back to a phase of full staff returning to offices, but there are still offices that are relying to a large degree on a skeleton staff, or perhaps just 2 or 3 days a week, as opposed to the way things were before, 5 days a week. I get calls on a daily basis from doctors that want to place orders and are frantically, trying to get those orders in, because they're juggling speaking to me before the next patient comes in and still trying to cover everything. So we want to do what we can to take those burdens off of them, make this process as easy as possible in terms of their ability to order, to reorder, and they should not hesitate to reach out to their salesperson and help for that, look for that extra level of support to get them to where they need to be, because that's essential at this point as we all look to ramp up and grow the business, and for us to get back to more and more of a sense of normalcy in the industry.
Yeah. And if anyone is interested, I'm happy if anyone would like to inquire about having a storefront that is branded to them, that has all of the marketing bells and whistles, is turnkey, then please reach out. We'll put the link in the chat for you all where you can apply for a store. We just need licensing to make sure that you can retail the brands. And from there, we can talk about package pricing, and I'll give you a special deal if you tune in through Greg's LinkedIn and reach out to me. And in the form that you fill out, just make sure that you heard about us through LinkedIn Live, and we'll go ahead, or through the recording if you're watching it, and we'll go ahead and take care of you and make sure that that storefront is taken, giving you a nice discount. And by no means does it cost you very much money. It's anywhere from $47 to $297 a month, which is incredibly reasonable if anyone knows what it takes to build a whole entire customer support team, shipping, etc.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, just to emphasize, the goal here is to provide that extra level of support, but we want to emphasize too, the healthcare practitioners out there, that we are here to help you. We are here to help you with your business. We are help you to grow your business. We are here to educate you on phenomenal products that make a difference in your practices and your patients' lives. So to that end, please don't hesitate to reach out. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly or to Chelsea. This is our first LinkedIn Live, which will be an ongoing series. And over the coming weeks, we'll be inviting doctors on to answer questions, and athletes, and things will evolve out from there. So I'm extremely excited about this opportunity, and I hope we get a lot of great questions that will come out of this. And we look forward to reconvening with everyone in the very near future.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see any questions on your end, Greg. We're happy to answer anything that you all have. I love consulting with people and helping them see how easy this can be. And even private label can be a part of this process too. If you really want to think about, how can I capitalize on this market and this audience that I've created and my loyal customers, and in some cases wait lists, then private label can be a beautiful program to walk through. And you did say some people are coming back to office in the skeleton version. Some people are not even coming back to the office. I have a lot of practitioners who've decided to go completely virtual. It suits them. And so if you're interested in that, then you absolutely need e-commerce, call it health e-commerce, to be a large chunk of your practice. I always say that a very healthy practice has 3 streams of income. One is going to be your in-person, one is going to be your supplement sale, and then one is going to be a scalable program that is constantly running in the background. So, recorded content, monthly detox, something that makes you money while you're sleeping and you don't have to be in office for it.
Absolutely. Yes, we do have a question that has come in, and the question is, with all of the brands that are on the market at the moment, how does a doctor make a determination in terms of which ones they should utilize and recommend to their patients? So please.
I mean, I have some say in that. I think, to me, of course, it's personal preference as well. Like, you want to sit down with your rep and you want to get to know them and you want to have a relationship and learn about that company. But you also have to take your population base into control, or into consideration. So, you need to look at the prices of the products. Certain companies come in glass jars. If you live in an area where people are obsessed with recycling and very against plastics, perhaps you want to go with one of those companies instead. Many of the companies that are out there that are practitioner only are genuinely doing a phenomenal job of vetting ingredients, of making sure that everything is taken care of. Their manufacturing standards are excellent. So I would just say, get to know your rep, figure out your core products that you want to offer. So what is it that I want every single person on, whether or not they saw me, and create an essential daily bundle that could come from any brands. Usually what I think of there is a fish oil, an omega-3, magnesium, vitamin D, but it depends on the region where you're practicing as well. You might be focusing with athletes. So I say, find a relationship with your rep, do your due diligence, and then reach out. Like, if you're working with Get Healthy and you go, hey, what is this product? We're always happy to put you in contact with the person who represents it so that they can walk you through the science. Certificate of analysis is also, of course, incredibly important. I don't know what you think about that, but I like companies that are very transparent with where they're sourcing their ingredients. I always educate my patients that, America with supplement sales is kind of like a bad drug deal, that the first company gets to buy it, vet the products, And then as they sell it on and it goes through the market, they have to be less and less transparent with what they've added to it. So I really like to work with the companies that handle the raw materials as soon as they're kind of coming into the country, or they basically have their hands on them at first sight.
I agree completely. Next question is, as a healthcare practitioner, I'd like to learn more about an online store. I have an online presence of my own in my practice. You mentioned earlier that there are steps necessary to do so, and it takes some time. How long does it take?
It happens quickly. So as soon as you fill out a store request form, we start building that store for you, meaning we're connecting your bank account, we're setting up the credit card processing, and we're vetting your license really quickly. And based on your license, then what happens is your store is ready email comes to you, and then you can log into your back office and you can see all of the products that are available to you based on your license. For example, if you're a health coach, certain brands don't want you to sell them. There's some workarounds in terms of certifications you can take, and we can walk you through that. But you'll have a back office that's available to you where you can curate products. You can put them on and off your store. Once you add a product to your store, it reflects in 24 hours. So generally speaking, about 10 days to get your basic store up and running. If you want something really high functioning with beautiful branding, imagery, we'll say about 30 days, but usually we get it done much quicker. It depends on how involved the practitioner wants to be. So I walk them through with the marketing team. Okay, this is what a high converting image is going to be. We recommend, that you have bundles created. So it's your sleep bundle, your stress bundle. So ultimately, how quickly you get us the information is how quickly we work. But think of it as about 2 weeks on our end and about a week on yours.
One last question. As we go away from a virtual world and to more of a live world in terms of patients coming back into offices, et cetera, how do you perceive things going during the second half of the year and beyond in terms of the healthcare practitioner space?
I've been busier than ever. I'm not sure. I think it comes down to adoption, truthfully. I think the audience that we have is smart. They're informed consumers. They're very interested in health more so than they ever have been before. So it's how much you really adopt versus fight, in my opinion. I think people who really adopt the ease of patients being able to sometimes talk to them online. A lot of patients loved it. Being able to purchase online. I think that will really dictate how you move forward. I think if you're kicking and screaming against technology, it might be a little bit of a trouble. But if you really use technology to help you see more patients, we say help you get more, keep your patients healthy and get healthy, then I think it's a very easy transition, and it allows a lot of our practitioners to go on vacation and do what they need to be doing to take care of themselves as well. I think
great.
The biggest spending boom, right? I mean, I saw some news articles. What did you see? Great American End.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Things are, I mean, as the saying goes, the future's so bright, you got to wear shades. And I think that the second half of the year, we're going to see the business continue to expand and grow. And we're going to help the healthcare practitioner population to get to where they need to be and provide them the tools to be able to do so. So,
yeah. And I just think, people are so wanting to be healthy, and our practitioners have really big hearts. Like nobody, for the most part, most of our healthcare practitioners got in here from this industry from a very heart-centered place. They didn't come in to make money. They don't think of sales. They don't think of streams of income. But it's really important to allow you to be able to do what you need to do best, which is help people get and stay healthy. The second most purchased item of all of the pandemic was potato chips. So it was toilet paper and then potato chips. And I think we can really educate people into understanding that we had this great vaccine talk that went on, it was very controversial. People got very heated and involved in it. But ultimately, the conversation that we all need to be having, that I'm sure everyone's aware of, is what is preventative medicine at this point? And how can we be talking not about vaccinating people, but how about making their immune systems better and keeping them better and really waking them up to that, and making that an easy transition and an easy conversation and an easy use case for our practitioners with something like an e-commerce platform that can make up a very large chunk of their income.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap it up. That's all of our questions. So
thanks for having me, Greg, and we look forward to talking to you all later. And please reach out to me with any questions. And yeah, enjoy San Francisco.
Yeah, I think right after this, I'm going to take a dive right into the ocean.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Have a great remainder of your day.